Okay guys, let's take a look at percent applications. Filling in this vocabulary here, a retailer buys items from manufacturers at wholesale price. Then the retailer then sells these items to customers at retail price. An increase from the wholesale price of an item to the retail price is called a markup. So what's happening here is it would be as if there was a company that made paper. Okay, so there's well, let's say a company that makes pencils. They make pencils. That's their job. All they do is it's a factory where they build pencils. Now, this pencil company doesn't sell them though. They're not like Staples or Kmart. They don't sell them, they just make them. So they're going to sell them, maybe they'll sell them to Staples. They'll sell their pencils to Staples, the store. Okay? And they're going to sell it at wholesale price. So it's going to be a little bit more than what it costs them to make it, and that's sold at wholesale price. So let's say they're going to sell them for $3 per load, big box. Staples then is going to sell it to us, and they're going to sell them in little individual pencil boxes or little individual pencil bags, and this is sold at retail price. Okay, so maybe here they're going to sell us the same thing for $5. And it's the exact same thing, it's just they need to make some money, so they mark up the price. And that's what happens here. From the $3 wholesale price to the $5 retail price, there is a markup, an increase, so Staples can make some money. Looks like a smiley face. But that's how that works, okay? So this, going over it real quick again, the pencils are made at a company. This company then sells it to a retail shop for wholesale price. The retail shop then sells it to us at retail price, and the difference between wholesale and retail is markup. So that's pretty much how all stores have to run so that they can make some money. And that's why sometimes they'll say, well, if you can cut out the middleman, this guy in between, Staples, then you can possibly get it for the cheaper price and get the exact same thing. So let's see how some of these markups and discounts are going to work later on. Example 1, a street vendor buys bracelets from a manufacturer for $7 each. The vendor marks up the price 150%. What is the retail price? I'm going to work through this entire lesson considering things as percents of increase and decrease, and then I'll come back through and I'll do it considering it as thinking of percents as 100%. And you'll see what I mean. But the first method, I'm going to go through the whole thing one way, and then I'll come back and do it either a second recording or a continuation of the second method. Okay? So, vendor is buying bracelets from manufacturer for $7. He's marking them up 150%. This is a percent of increase. They want to know the retail price. How much is the vendor going to sell them to us for? Us walking around on the street. So, first thing is to find out 150% of 7. This is a percent of increase. So I'm going to do 1.5 because I turned this into a decimal. 1.5 times 7, and I get $10.50. So that's the extra money that they're going to charge. So then I have to add 7, which was the original fee, plus $10.50, and I find that this vendor is going to sell these bracelets for $7.50. That's the retail price. Let's try another one. Example 1. Find the retail price of a collectible figurine with a wholesale cost of $12 that is marked up 75%. Maybe there's a little store near you and they sell collectible figurines, and they bought this particular one for $12 from a company through their suppliers. Now they're going to mark it up 75% and then put it on their shelves to sell to us. So first, this is a percent of increase. We need to find out what 75% of $12 is. So that's 0.75 times 12, and I'm going to get $9. So that's how much extra they're going to add to the price. So it was $12. They're adding $9. Our new total for this collectible figurine is $21. So when they put it on a shelf and they put the tag on it, it's going to say $21. Okay, so that means they're making $9 profit. Now, discounts those we're a little bit more familiar with because we actually see these. You buy an electronic organizer that is on sale for 15% off of the original price of $25. What is the sale price? Okay, so this is really a percent of decrease. First step, we want to find out what is 15% of 25 because that's what we're going to save. So I'm going to do 0.15 times 25. And we find that we are going to be saving $3.75, which is great, but we don't want to know how much we're saving. We want to know what is the sale price? What are we going to pay for when we get up to the counter? So then the next step, because this is a percent of decrease, the original amount was $25. We're going to subtract the $3.75, and we're going to get $21. Oopsies, 25 minus $3.75, $21.25. And that's our sale price. Now sometimes you'll go into the stores and they'll already have this written out for you, those little charts at the top. But if you were to not have that and you have a calculator or cell phone handy, you're ready to go. Example 2, another discount. Mason buys a suit that is on sale for 20% off of the original price of $180. What is the sale price? Okay, so percent of decrease. First we need to find out 20% of 180. So 0.2 times 180, because that's a decimal, we get our answer to be $36. So we're going to save $36, so the sale price is going to be 180 minus 36, which is $144 for that suit. All right, example 3, sales tax and tip, another thing that we see all the time. The bill for your restaurant meal is $22. You leave a 15% tip. The sales tax is 6%. What is the total cost of your meal? Okay, now again, there's a couple ways of doing this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to say, well, we need to first find out 15% of 22. So 0.15 times 22 is $3.30. This was for our tip. Now we want to find out how much tax there is. Now we're not going to pay tax on the tip, so we can just do 6%, not 0.6, 6% of 22, the original bill as it was. So it's 0.06 times 22. So our tax in this case is $1.32. Now step 3 is to add the original bill plus the tip plus the tax, and we find that our total charge, the end, would be $26.62. Okay? Now some people said or asked, can we just say, all right, 15% for our tip, 6% for our tax, that's a total of 21%. Can we just do 21% of 22? And yes, you can. 21% of 22 is $4.62. And then we would do, that would be your first step. Step 2 would be to add the original to that $4.62. In this way, you're going to get the same answer, $26.62. Okay? Another one just like that. The bill for a family's meal at a restaurant is $68. They leave a 15% tip. The sales tax is 6%. Total cost of the meal. I'm just going to combine these. In first step, I'm going to find 21%, and it's not always going to be 21, so pay attention to what the two percentages are. But 21% of 68, 0.21 times 68 is $14.28, because we're talking about money. Now step 2, because we're adding these to our bill, the tax and tip are additional pay, we're going to take our original price plus $14.28, and we find out that our total amount owed is $82.28. Okay, nice job. Example 4, I'm going to hold off. Please watch the next one just so you can see how to do that. This is about original amount, and it's a lot easier if you do it the second way. But for all of these ones above, you can choose whichever you'd like. All right, thanks guys.